Hey Capricorn and Capricorn rising. Welcome back to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. Thanks for joining me. And I'm Candace. I'm here to kind of help guide you through your journey for the transits this month. This is going to be the horoscopes for September 2025 based off of the Capricorn rising sign. Please remember that your rising sign or your ascendant is a much more personalized kind of read than the sun sign alone. It sets the kind of order of the transits in your chart. If you don't know your rising sign, definitely check out a birth chart calculator online to figure out what it is. You just need your time and your location of birth. Be sure to listen to your rising sun and moon sign. There's separate videos for all of them, but this is going to give you a better idea of what's happening this month. I think listening to your sun and moon sign is especially important because we're having solar and lunar eclipses. Now, I'm a Western astrologer. That's the practice that I have, and I'm going to be using the whole sign system to show you where the transits are moving through your chart. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like this video, consider subscribing to the channel, hit the bell button below, and leave me a comment below and let me know how these horoscopes and predictions kind of play out for you in the month of September. If you want to see more about me and my work, click the links below, head over to my website in the description, beyondtheveiltarot.com. There you can book a personal reading with me, check out my astro calendars, or learn tarot or astrology from one of my courses. And definitely consider joining my channel memberships on YouTube if you want to support my work as a full-time content creator. All right, so Capricorn, what's up? We're talking Saturn, and thankfully Saturn is going into a much more favorable part of your chart, so that's beneficial. Obviously, you are ruled by Saturn, planet of structure, responsibility, discipline, timing, ambition. So something to think about is that Saturn is retrograding back into Pisces this month. So it's at least moving into a sign that's friendlier for you. So if you happen to be a later degree Capricorn, I would say 24 to 29 degrees, Saturn will be sextiling you basically between now and the beginning of 2026. So on September 1st, Saturn retrogrades back into Pisces, so it's going to be wrapping up or backtracking something in your third house of communication, learning, siblings, and short-distance trips before it moves back into Aries next year at the beginning of 2026. Pisces really softens Saturn's kind of, I think, edge with intuition and emotion, and there's going to be this karmic review of thoughts and expressions and how you communicate with others, and maybe wrapping up websites or things you're studying, karma with siblings, changes with vehicles, all these things can happen. And I think that, some of us might find that we're kind of facing delays in some of these topics, or, maybe talks to build wiser communication comes about. And there can also be like foggy or kind of like confusing or restrictive conversations with other people in the third house as well. So really this placement is really urging you to, be practical when it comes to your in your daily interactions, and it's empowering long-term mental foundations in the third house. Now, something else you will see is that there will be an eclipse that's going to oppose Saturn, and that's definitely going to impact you. That's the Virgo eclipse. Unless you happen to be like a 28, 29 degree Capricorn rising, it'll try your placements. But I do think that it is going to be a little bit more tricky because it's actually coming into an opposition with Saturn, which is your chart ruler. So there's going to be some heated debates and travel or education issues. And it's also coming into a square with my 0 to 2 degrees of Capricorn sun, lunar rising. So if you're an early degree Capricorn, it's going to square you. It's not as friendly. So, all in all, I think that, this is a month where you may feel a little tested, but you'll be able to navigate it. And we're going to talk about what all of the transits mean. So to break down the transits, I'm going to go in order day by day. I'm going to give you some insight as to what these transits mean and what you might be expecting. Obviously, starting with the first of the month on September when Saturn dips back into Pisces. So it's prompting review and communication. It also means that there could be some karmic lessons involving siblings, neighbors, or self-expression. And it's really teaching you to kind of build more discipline when it comes to thoughts and communication. It is possible that there could be delayed messages, delayed travel, delays with making changes with your vehicles or even moving. And I would just say, just pause, try to take your time. Journaling can be a really great form of reflection during this particular retrograde, especially if you're wanting to get insight about making any moves, literally, like in terms of home, or any changes revolving around some of your vehicles. Now, on September the 2nd, Mercury is going to be ingressing into Virgo. It's going to be going into your 9th house. And here's where you're going to see a lot of action all month long. So the positive is that as a Capricorn, you're experiencing some trines from all of this Virgo energy. And the 9th house is about philosophy, higher education, law, travel, and teachers or mentors. Mercury is connected to this house. It's also connected to scheduling, health, and wellness. So I think that this is going to be a period of higher learning, traveling, analytical expressions. And Mercury is very detailed here. So you can be very detailed in planning a trip, going back to school. Just watch for overthinking your beliefs. And this is a great time to be researching a trip and getting some insight for where you're going, or where you're going to want to be taking courses, or where you're going to be, traveling to. It could also be a time where you're getting things in order when it comes to traveling for work. Now, Mercury will square Uranus briefly, so there can be some challenges right out the gate, but beyond that, things actually get a little bit easier with scheduling, and legal stuff can sometimes come up for Capricorns here as well. Now, on the 4th of the month, you're going to see Mars in Libra going through your 10th house of career and reputation, where you're taking action professionally, coming into a square with Jupiter and Cancer in your 7th house. And if you happen to have anything 18 to about 22 degrees of Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, you will actually have a T-square. So be mindful that the actions that you're kind of taking out in the world have a big impact on your relationships and also on you. Now, basically, tension, builds whenever we see squares. So, your professional actions with Mars in your 10th is clashing with relationships, clients, partnerships, growth when it comes to your romantic relationships and commitment. So tension in, relationship reputations or professional reputations versus, bonds shows where ambition can potentially be a little strained. So like work partner conflicts can arise, being too busy at work, stress in regards to relationships. Maybe you have a partner or a coach or somebody who's encouraging you to kind of go after it at work and get things done. And I would just say, try to tap into Libra energy, try to negotiate diplomatically, try to, grow and be balanced and fair and take other people into consideration before you're just jumping off and kind of going into work. Now, on the 5th of the month, you're going to find Uranus is going to station retrograde, and that's going to be happening in the sign of Gemini in your 6th house of health, habits, pets, and routines. So, this is where Uranus, which rules your money and your resources, is turning inward. This basically means that you have an opportunity for the next couple of months to be rethinking wellness in an unconventional manner, working independently. There could be a sudden change in your habits that are reviewed. And I think that you're kind of experimenting with making changes to your health or your daily routines and how that can kind of actually boost you financially. Just track your progress, watch for unexpected health changes, dietary changes that can kind of manifest here. That's definitely possible. On the 7th of the month, we're going to see a lunar eclipse in Pisces, which will be taking place in your natal 3rd house. I think hands down, probably the best eclipse all year long. I will continue to tell everybody that. Certainly much better than the one that's going to come later in the month. And the reason being is it's a North Node eclipse, so it's bringing us something that's fated and part of our destiny. Obviously, it's in a sign that's friendly with Capricorn, so it works for you in that regard as well. And that's going to be at 15 degrees. Now, this is where the moon's in the 3rd house, the sun is in the 10th house, and they oppose each other. And what this basically means is that there's going to be some kind of release in communication versus beliefs. Yes, there can be emotional endings of the lunar eclipse. It can be really in regards to conversations. It can be with siblings. And I think this is actually going to give you a breakthrough in how you communicate with relationships or with family. And the reason being is this is ruled by Jupiter, trining Jupiter, and Jupiter is exalted in your 7th. So having conversations with partners, getting clarity, working with a therapist, even getting a reading can bring you closer with other people. And I'm thinking it's going to be more like either grandparents, siblings, or it can be neighbors. Okay, so these people. And, maybe you're working with a therapist. Maybe you're working with, a healer, and they're helping you kind of like figure out how to better express yourself or find blockages that you've been having in relationships. Maybe you have a heart-to-heart with a partner. There can be traveling with relationships that can be kind of coming up as well. And I would say, this eclipse is really about releasing old ideas, and travel can really stimulate positive communication with others. Now, on the 13th of the month, you're going to see the Sun conjunct Mercury in Virgo in your 9th house. And this is going to be showing you where there is a cazimi taking place, where Mercury makes a superior conjunction to the Sun. And this is illuminating themes involving legal matters, court decisions, traveling, education, admission letters, anything kind of connecting also to financing or negotiations. I think that it might mean that it's just giving you clear insights into what direction legal matters, travel, or education are going. It could also mean that there is like a study breakthrough or a connection with a new teacher or a mentor. And this is really encouraging you to share that wisdom and also plan adventures. On the 17th of the month, you're going to see Mercury in your 9th house come into an opposition with Saturn. So this is definitely a little bit more difficult for you because you're Saturn. And Mercury in the 9th is going to be, traveling, legal matters, teachers, in-laws, and it's opposing Saturn. So this could be a difficult communication day for you, or maybe you're having a hard time getting a hold of somebody or vice versa. And I see this as a time where, the 9th and the 3rd house is showing you where there's like friction in wanting to have expansive talks, but there's like mental limits. Like you don't understand, you're not open to it. You aren't open to traveling, and there could be like a period of having like a serious belief reevaluation and some communication blocks. So I think that I'd be careful with like getting into philosophical debates with people. This is a time to not be trying to travel. This is a time to not be engaging in legal matters or trying to sign contracts, because there can be issues here. And then on the 18th of the month, Mercury will ingress into your 10th house, which is going to put a highlight on communication and your professional sphere. In Libra, it's going to give you the opportunity for balanced professional dialogues, meetings, social networking, finding new jobs. And it could provide a lot of harmony when it comes to professional negotiations and career talks. Maybe a little indecisive, but I feel like you can be very charming if you're having to give an interview or a proposal or a presentation. And this is a good time to be, I think, advancing your status in your professional life. Some of you guys are traveling to do that. Some of you guys are going back to school to do that. But it's definitely a time to feel heard and really kind of advance your career. Now, on the 19th of the month, you're going to see Venus will be moving into Virgo in your 9th house, where beauty is going to be connected to traveling, higher education, long-distance relationships, and also opportunities to indulge in travel or the higher mind. So there's going to be this sense of wanting to have more practical values that you're exploring. And there will be love that's found through learning or travel. Be particular with where you're traveling or you're going to. Look for a cultural experience that can provide close bonds with other people. I would be, planning any trip thoroughly and broadening my horizons. So it's possible you could be traveling for work, or that there could be a romantic connection with somebody who is afar. Now, on the 21st of the month, you're going to see that there will be a solar eclipse in Virgo at 29 degrees. So it's going to be in your 9th house. Now, if you happen to be a 28, 29 degree Capricorn, it's trining you, so it's friendly. But if you happen to be 0 to 2 degrees, an early degree Capricorn, this is squaring you, and it's not as friendly. And it's also opposing a Saturn. So there is some sense of distance, delay, or limitation, or you just saying, I'm not ready yet, not yet, I'm not sure, that kind of stuff. Basically, we've had a double dose of Virgo energy. August gave us a new moon in Virgo at 0 degrees. This is the second one at 29 degrees. We also have a cazimi here. So there's a lot of emphasis on your 9th house. So the positive is that the 9th house is about growth, and it's about your purpose and getting out there and how you see the world and what you believe in, and it can bring you positive things. But a solar eclipse at 29 degrees means that there's going to be like a critical shift or sudden travel, or feeling like you have to release one way of thinking or believing and you're embracing something new. Maybe it means that there's going to be a faded worldview shift that's happening. And it's possible that you're applying for school or you're enrolling in a program. Maybe it means that you're also becoming aware of where there's been limitations to your growth or your travel, and you're embracing the unknown. Now, at the time of the eclipse, the ruler, Mercury, will actually be in your 10th house. So it tells me that some of you guys might be traveling for work, going back to school, or you're getting ready to make a big announcement about something that's changing with your professional reputation. That opposition to Saturn makes me feel like you're not seeing eye to eye with either a teacher, a mentor, or potentially even somebody who's like a legal professional. And you're feeling the pressure of the Saturn opposition, and you're like, I don't know how I'm able to travel or how I'm able to go back to school. And you'll be working through some of that over the better part of like the next 6 months. On the 22nd of the month, Mars will ingress into Scorpio, and it's going to go into your 11th house of friends, networks, allies, and social groups. This brings intensity to group action and obviously a lot on your social agenda. You might find that you're much more passionate about causes and connecting with other people, and also your goals in life. But you can become a little fixated or obsessive, and there can be some tension with certain friendships and relationships. Now, I feel like a good way to use this, because Mars is connected to your home and it's also connected to your friends, is like, your friends are going to be, talking to you passionately about, where to move, how to move, what changes to make in your private life or your home. Maybe they help you do that. Otherwise, there can be some competition, or there could be some friction going on with you and a friend throughout the next couple of weeks. I do recommend, trying to join forces with other people and collaborate with other people who can kind of help you make the necessary changes you need to make. Also on September 22nd, the sun is going to go into Libra, and it's going to be moving into your 10th house of career. This is known as the fall equinox here in the Northern Hemisphere, and this is a day where we're really focusing on career balance. This means that maybe the equinox is kind of spotlighting your public harmony, your relationships with other people, and also your professional goals. I do think that this could be a moment of recognition, and there may be opportunities to advance your career, and I would really recommend networking with other people ambitiously. Then on the 23rd of the month, you're going to see the sun in Libra in your 10th house coming into an opposition with Neptune in the sign of Aries in your 4th house. Feeling it very strongly if you're early degree Capricorn rising, the first 2 or 3 degrees. And basically this means that there's tension between, your work relationships and your goals professionally, and the reality of what's not working, breaking down, or changing at home, Neptune. Professional ideals are going to be clashing with your dream home or living situation. There can be confusion in status that's impacting family, feeling like you're super dedicated to your career, but you're doing that and you're kind of avoiding making some changes at home or emotionally that can affect family or living situations. And work vagueness, or not really sure what's going on with work, can make you feel destabilized at home. And I think it's really important to just stay grounded when it comes to your ambitions during this transit. Now on the 24th of the month, Mars in Scorpio, still going through your social zone, is going to start coming into a square with Pluto and Aquarius in your 2nd house of personal possessions, resources, and values. Here, social intensity meets resource transformation. So friends are pushing you to change or transform your financial situation. Support and collaboration is helping improve your financial situation. But there could be power struggles in groups versus worth. There could be a friend financial dispute. But it can also be an opportunity to find empowering networks and people who can actually boost your income and your ability to be successful at work. Your best days this month are definitely going to be September 13th, where I think you're going to see some philosophical clarity. The 18th, where you might find that it's easier to have some career harmony. And the 21st, if you're a leader degree Capricorn, because it's going to be trining you and helping structure your success. As for the challenging days, September 4th, watch for career-related tension. September 17th, know your limits. And September 24th, watch for the group conflict. Build resilience. And overall, I see this as a month where many of you guys are going to have the opportunity to see the bigger picture of life. You're going to be able to travel. You're going to be able to learn something new. And a lot of this is finding the right person, the right teacher, the right mentor. It may also mean that you're having to ask the right questions and you're kind of keeping an open mind and you're getting out of your own way. Big shift when it comes to your professional life and anything in regards to your career as we're getting into Libra season. Enjoy that, soak it all up. I think that many of you guys are going to find that this is a huge turning point where you're kind of finding your groove when it comes to who you're supposed to be connecting and collaborating with professionally. All right, with that being said, let's see what the tarot says for you guys when it comes to the month ahead. So what do we need to tell the Capricorn and Capricorn risings? Card that I get is the Five of Coins. What? I'm thinking personally that, the eclipse in opposition to Saturn, it doesn't really matter what house it's in, although in the third house is going to be like, why isn't this being given to me? Or why is this being delayed? Or why am I being kind of iced out? Can be your perspective. But remember that whatever is removed during eclipse season is being removed because it does not serve you. And I really feel like that can happen with some of the eclipses in opposition to Saturn. It's all about the way you look at it and your perspective. Think of it as the universe is removing things that are not for you. Not that you weren't, included or that you were rejected or that you weren't given something, because I think that might be your perspective. And I say that because the Five of Coins talks about feeling, hardship, being left out in the cold, feeling abandoned, and, there being some adversity, struggle, unemployment, alienation, that kind of stuff. Not fun stuff. Hardship and poverty. You may be experiencing financial, emotional hardship and feeling left out in the cold, right? Now, Saturn is cold. Saturn in Pisces is about being emotionally distant and cold. I'm thinking with the eclipses in opposition, you're like, why didn't my in-law call me back? Why didn't my teachers support me? Why didn't I, get the recognition that I was looking for? And I would be like, it's about things being removed from your path. In terms of your money, Saturn traditionally rules your second house. So there can be some sense of having difficult conversations about finances or some delays with finances. But to be honest with you, Pluto's trining Uranus. So yes, there's changes at work, which could provide changes with your finances. But I think as we're going into Libra season, it's like, you're going, okay, that didn't work. So now who can I partner with or work with that can help actually, boost my financial situation? I'm willing to improvise and make changes in my work and my situation. So Venus starts the month in your 8th house as well. I really don't feel like there's going to be a lot of issues financially. You guys will have to give me feedback and let me know. Certainly Saturn rules your money and the sun rules other people's money. So if you're a Capricorn going through a legal dispute, or that you're waiting to get, a refund on something, or if you're waiting for a legal decision, if you're waiting for somebody to provide you with some support, there can be some delays for sure. But I would say don't look at it as what is kept from you as being a bad thing. Think of it as you're being rerouted this month. That's how I kind of see it. Okay? Give me feedback. Let me know. I'd love to hear how this manifests for you guys for the month ahead. Please don't forget to like and comment. And I'm curious to see how this manifests for you guys in the month of September. I hope it's a good one, and I will catch you guys back here next month in October. Take care.